What's up guys, welcome to the video. My name is Arman. If you're new to the channel, I am a Toronto-based deep house and progressive house DJ and producer. This YouTube channel is oriented around teaching beginner and intermediate level DJs how to ramp their skills up to the next level and improve their skills and become more advanced level DJs. Pardon my voice today, I'm a little bit sick, I'm under the weather, but I wanted to get you guys out one more video before in 2 nights I head off to Barbados for Vujade Music Festival. Super pumped for that. I'm not playing the festival this year, but I'll be checking it out and I have some friends who are performing as DJs in the festival. Looking forward to a week off of my day job, some warm sun, beaches, and great music. And I'll let you guys know how Vujade Music Festival was for its first year, and hopefully next year I'll even be playing the festival myself. So tomorrow night I'll be busy packing to leave, so tonight I figured I would get you guys out this video. I've had some requests for this video from some of the subscribers on how to prepare for your first gig. So for you new DJs, bedroom DJs who have been practicing at home and you're ready to bring your chops out into the real world, you've got a gig lined up at a nightclub or a small festival, this video is for you. So 8 things to do. 8 steps, 8 ways to prepare on how to nail it on your first ever DJ gig, all right? Very first one is actually a bit counterintuitive from playing in a nightclub. My first number 1 tip for you is play some house parties, okay? If a friend is throwing a party, just ask, hey, you wanna have a live DJ there? Find a group of people that are into the same type of music that you like to DJ and find a house party to play at. Why is that so important? Well, a couple reasons. Main one being, it's gonna get you playing in front of people and gonna have you in an environment where there's chatter and background noise and perhaps drunk people coming up to the DJ booth and asking you to play hip hop or rap or reggae and giving you all these annoying requests. And believe me, it happens in nightclubs too, it happens all the time. So I want you to perfect your mixing skills in an environment where there's other background noise. And you don't realize how large this issue is until you go and play in a nightclub for the first time. But the difference between playing in a quiet environment where you have perfect control over how loud you want your booth monitors to be, how loud you want your headphones to be when you're mixing is critical, okay? It's very easy to play a really beautiful studio mix with great mixing, tight beat matching, the melodies are harmonizing well between songs that you're mixing in your house. When you go to a club or even a house party where there's loud chatter, perhaps the monitors, perhaps you don't have any monitors, or perhaps the booth monitors aren't quite loud enough to overpower the sound of the room. It's very important to learn the skill of being able to rely on your monitors and listen for them even if it's loud in the room, or if it's too loud, to use your headphones and to play in front of people that are perhaps dancing, they're having a good time, and there's distractions. So if you play 1 house party, great. Play 5 if you can before you go to a nightclub though, because playing these house parties, they can really build your confidence. So just before I move on to step 2, I'll tell you what my experience was actually. I had been DJing in my apartment alone for maybe 6 to 7 months, okay? So frankly, I don't think I was really ready for a nightclub gig. I hadn't even played a house party yet. And I actually got very lucky because a good friend of mine happened to be good friends with a manager of a famous after hours nightclub here in Toronto called Comfort Zone. And he was able to arrange a gig for me. Now I still had to submit a demo mix before getting to play that gig, but I fully recognize I was very fortunate. I would not have had that gig without my good friend's help. All right, so I went into a nightclub for an opening slot. It's an after hours, but it's a big one. It held about 300 to 400 people in the main room area, and this place ran from 3 in the morning to like 9 a.m. in the morning. So I played an opening set from about 3 a.m. I think it was to 4:30 a.m. for an hour and a half, and fortunately the set went pretty well. Of course it could have been better, but there was no major mishaps or train wrecks. And by the way, for the new DJ who doesn't know what a train wreck is, that's when your beat matching gets all scrambled and out of sync, and the two songs sound like they're fighting together, okay? We call those train wrecks. Not what you want to have during your first live gig. So I didn't have the benefit of playing in a house party before I went to play this gig, okay? So it was a bit intimidating. I was definitely nervous. I think my legs probably felt like two wet noodles, and but it was a lot of fun, you know what? And I prepared very carefully, and that's gonna come up in some of the other tips that we're gonna go through and the other 7 steps to prepare. But definitely play the house parties. Okay, number 2, in terms of preparation, know what you're going to play. Now, I do not mean come up with an organized track list and you're gonna know what order you're gonna play every song in. I believe that that's cheating, right? I don't believe in pre-recorded sets, and I don't believe in pre-arranged sets either. However, that doesn't mean, and especially for your very first gig, it does not mean that you should not do any preparation whatsoever. When I say know what you're going to play, have a folder of, say, 15 or 20 songs if you're going to do an hour and a half set. You want to have extra music, so if it's an hour and a half, I'd say have at least 20 songs. And know the music well. First of all, you've got to know the tracks, know where the big breakdowns are, know which songs have vocals in them, know which ones are more aggressive in their energy level. By the way, you can see my other video posted about 2 weeks ago on how to build out a DJ set in terms of examples of songs with different energy levels and how to build out your set. But also, and this is maybe cheating just a little bit, because I said don't play a pre-arranged set where you know every song in order how you're going to play it, but because it's your first gig, I do believe that you should know the first maybe 3 or 4 songs you're going to play and in what order. And no, that's probably easier to do if you're playing an opening set. If you're coming in after another DJ, you might need to remember that you have to adapt a little bit more to how the energy level is and what the last DJ was playing before you come on the decks, okay? But if you can play the first 3 or 4 songs in an order that you planned on and you've practiced mixing them already, and then freestyle it like a true DJ set for the rest of the set, I think that's a good thing. Reason being is you're confident for those first 2 or 3 mixes. You're not going to be scrambling to find a song and running out of time as the song you're playing starts to run down. And you'll be able to mix these first 2, 3, 4 songs very well because you've done it before. So that's going to build your confidence level up. It's going to cool your nerves and get rid of some of those first gig jitters, right, that I was talking about earlier. So I think that can go a long way towards getting you into a comfortable flow of mind or peace of mind for the rest of your set. Okay, number 3, and this is a pretty obvious one. You'd be surprised how many people though won't take advantage of it. Know the club you're going to play at, okay? And that's good because it shows that you support the club and the promoter as well. If there's a promoter who does a weekly event there, or even a bi-weekly or a monthly event, go there 1 or 2 times at least before you play your set so you can get a feel for the club. Maybe you can hang out in the DJ booth a little bit and you can see what kind of equipment is there. You can make arrangements to make sure there's going to be equipment there that you can use, or if not, you can bring your own equipment if necessary. And you can get a feel for the sound in the room, how loud it is in the DJ booth, and just generally your presence in being there, okay, will make you have a sense of familiarity that also is going to help you to reduce the nervousness level when you go back to the club to actually play your set, okay? Number 4, the night of the gig, get there early. Couple reasons for this. One is, if you are playing the opening set, you can get there early before the nightclub even opens, and there's no one in the room yet other than maybe bartenders who are chopping up lemons and limes, right? So you can get in there early. Maybe you just ask the sound guy if there is one, or you ask the manager, hey, do you mind if I spin 3 or 4 songs for the first 20 minutes before the club opens? I'll keep the volume level reasonable and just do a little sound check. But also, that gets you comfortable mixing in that DJ booth if you've never been in there before, and you can get a feel for the equipment. And when the people start to walk into the door, guess what? You're already in a groove now, right? You're already playing, you've got your mojo is going, and you're feeling good. And you've done a couple mixes successfully without the added pressure of any people being around, okay? Number 5, actually sorry, before I jump to number 5, I got a little bit ahead of myself there. Second reason to get to the club early, say you're not the opening DJ. Say you're going on at 1 in the morning and someone else has been warming up the room for the last hour or two. You get in there and the club is full and the DJ is playing. Now you're in there early. You're still going to be able to go into the DJ booth and hang out. Watch what the DJ is doing. How loud does he or she have the booth monitors turned up? How's the energy level in the room? What's the crowd doing? You can do a little bit of recon with the advantage of the club being open and being a live club environment, all right? So whether you're opening or not, it's critically important to get to the club early and take in what's going on, get comfortable. It's going to help put you at ease. And as you can see through a common theme here, right, through a number of my tips, is it's just really, really, really important to get you into a calm state of mind, because if you've been practicing at home and you're playing good sets at home. And during this intermission, guys, just a quick moment of shameless self-promotion. If you like the mix that you're hearing in the background, it's actually a very special mix that I just put up on my SoundCloud page. I just crossed 3,000 followers on the page, so I put up a 3-hour mix as a little thank you to all the followers and subscribers on YouTube. Thank you so much for the support. I'm very happy and proud to cross 3,000 followers. I did a 2-hour mix for the 2,000 followers when I crossed that threshold last year. So next year, I guess, if I hit 4,000 followers, I'll have to do a 4-hour set. And I'm closing in on 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. So if you like the mix and you want to listen to 3 hours of uninterrupted deep house and progressive house, just head over to my SoundCloud page, soundcloud.com/justarman. And please hit that follow button if you haven't done so already. There's really no reason why you can't play a really excellent quality set, even in a club. So, getting back to the tips, number 5 is turn it down. Now, what do I mean by turn it down? I realize that sounds a little bit counterintuitive. One of the most difficult things to grapple with, frankly, when you go to play in a real nightclub, or I'm going to say a medium to large size nightclub, is just how loud it is, okay? You've got the crowd noise, you've got the noise of the main speakers. Even though they're aimed away from you, you still hear them. The sound comes off the back wall, bounces back at you with all the crowd noise, people yelling, talking to bartenders trying to order drinks, right? People cheering, partying, talking, whatever. It's a lot of sound, and you end up having to turn up the booth monitors quite loud to overpower the sound of the room to the level that you can hear what's going on in the live mix well enough to perform your duties as the DJ. So what that means is that your headphones also end up being turned up pretty loud. Certainly a lot louder than when you mix at home in your living room or your bedroom. You can turn down the booth monitors and allow your headphones to remain a little bit quieter that way, but you have to be cognizant of that, because in smaller nightclubs, when people dance really close at the stage, they're actually hearing some of the sound that they're relying upon and that they're hearing to enjoy is actually coming from the DJ's booth monitors too. So in smaller clubs, I like to find a happy medium, not too loud that it's gonna cause me to have to crank my headphones to hear what I'm doing in my headphones. But I don't want to be turning it down whenever I want to listen in my headphones, because then the listeners at the front are going to hear the volume level going up and down, and it's going to sound pretty bad probably from their perspective. So when I say the tip is turn it down, something that will happen when you have all of this noise in this environment, and don't worry, I don't think this means you're actually damaging your hearing, but sometimes you'll lose track of the beats in your headphones when you're trying to beat match. This happens, I find, most commonly with tracks that have a very low bass kick, like a very low frequency, is you'll lose track of where the beat is falling in your headphone when you have two tracks playing together, if you like to mix in stereo with both your headphones on, like I do. So one way maybe to avoid that is to mix the more old school way with your left ear, or one of your ears is relying on the booth monitors for the track that's playing live, and in your cue in the headphone, only in one side is your track that you're mixing in the cue. That's maybe one way to avoid that. But I find that sometimes your ears get to this point where it's almost like they're temporarily kind of numbed out, and it gets blurry. What you're trying to listen to gets a bit blurry. And in that moment, and I've heard other DJs talk about this phenomenon as well, and I definitely, if you are worried about hearing loss, by the way, I definitely recommend using custom molded musician's earplugs, which I always use when I'm in a medium size or larger nightclub. Anyway, what you're gonna wanna do is turn the music up louder. You're gonna say, oh, I can't hear the beat match. The beats are slipping away from me and I don't want a train wreck. I'm gonna turn it up louder so I can hear what's going on. Actually, that's gonna make things worse. I find that what you've gotta do in that situation, as counterintuitive as it is turn it down, but only a little. At least turn it down before you end up turning it up. Because if you turn it down, you may find that it focuses your ears. In a way, I guess your ears are kind of like your eyes. It focuses your ears to listen more carefully for what's going on. And suddenly you'll find the click of the beat again. It'll come back to you. So turn it down before you turn it up. If you have to, turn it up, but turn it down. Your ears will also thank you in the long run for that one. All right, number 6. Another tip that goes without saying, but DJs are performers, and I guess when you get into the territory of performers, you can get into the territory of prima donnas. The tip is be professional. Always be professional at all costs. So even if the DJ before you is not playing music you like, you think they're playing music that's totally inappropriate for the club or for the time of night, be respectful. Thank the DJ when they come off the decks and they let you plug in your USB key or your headphones. Give them a compliment. Be respectful to the nightclub owner. Be respectful of the sound guy. Do not turn up the gains on the channels into the red line. And especially if the sound guy asks you to keep the level to a certain point, because he knows best what that nightclub system can tolerate in terms of output from the mixer. Follow the guidelines. Sometimes bartenders will bring you a bottle of water or a free drink or something in the club. Be respectful to the wait staff in the club, and you're going to be welcome back for another set, hopefully, right? Always thank the promoter. I like to send a follow-up message to the person who booked me the next day, thanking them again for the gig, letting them know I had fun and that I'd love to play again. Again, just being a nice guy as a DJ goes a long way, because there are a lot of jerks in the business. It can be a cutthroat business. So the genuine people who are nice and who are professional all the time, they get noticed in the long run for sure. So number 7. Obviously, keep your chin up if you make a mistake. Don't get too down on yourself. It's your first gig, and just try and look forward, let the mistakes stay in the past, and just stay focused on the future mixes you have ahead of you, and just use it for motivation to make the next mix that much tighter, okay? So if you get into a bad situation where you're gonna train wreck, if you hear the beats are really out of sync and you're not sure which way to move the turntable platter, assuming you're playing on CDJs and you're not using a sync feature like Tractor software or Serato, and you're in a train wreck situation, just bring out the song, but don't spend too long trying to fix it, is really what I'm trying to say here. Maybe take a couple stabs at rotating the platter, and if it's getting worse, quickly try going back the other way on the platter, but if it's really too out of sync, don't spend too long with both of these songs fighting each other with the beats way out of position, trying to fix it. Just take the volume fader slowly, pretty quickly down on the track that's needs to be mixed out, and just let the new track go to full power. You know what? Everyone in the crowd is not a DJ. They'll probably know that you've screwed up, but they will not know how bad of a screw up it is unless they're actually a DJ or someone who goes to clubs really, really frequently. So I found that DJs we're toughest critics, right? So if you think it's bad, the crowd may have noticed, but the crowd probably doesn't actually think it's as bad as you did. All right, last tip, number 8. Practice. That one's obvious, but you've got to know your music that you're going to play at the club. Practice, practice, practice. I cannot overstate that enough. DJing is like playing an instrument, and I can tell you that from experience, having grown up playing violin, drums, and jazz band class at school. I was never very good, and also playing guitar, a lot of guitar, and being a self-taught guitar player. Okay, practice, practice, practice. Do an hour a day minimum for 5 days before your gig, and then you're gonna know your music like the back of your hand, and you're gonna have that elevated confidence level going into that club. All right? Best of luck to everybody on their first gigs. I will see you guys in a week for the next video when I am back from Barbados with stories to tell from all the beautiful music down in Barbados at Rouge Day Music Festival.